And ladies and gentlemen, ooh, the quick change right there. Our guys, Jason and Kai, are doing their thing. We have Cal Bowdler, friend of Beyond the Surface, joining us right here in our LA studios. Cal just got in, threw a jacket on for us, like you're rolling out all the good stuff for us. We love it, man. But Cal's out here. He's the vice president of the MBRPA Atlanta Board of Directors. Former NBA player, first-round pick in 1999 to the Atlanta Hawks. Cal Bowdler, ladies and gentlemen.
Boom! Thanks for having me, and I'm glad I had a jacket in my suitcase. I can tell you that. Throw it on for you guys. You guys look sharp.
Looking good, man. I love the frames too, Cal.
I appreciate it.
I love the frames. You're doing it with that, man. So welcome to LA. We love it. What are you looking to accomplish this weekend? Like, what got you in a plane? Other than, of course, hanging out with us here, what are you going to be doing this weekend in LA?
So great question. So I just, as you mentioned, joined the executive team for the Atlanta chapter of the Retired Players Association. And one of the things that the national organization does every year is two big time sort of events. One around Summer League, and then one around All-Star Week, whatever city it's in. So a bunch of us coming out, people that are in town. We've got a community event that we're doing on Saturday, a youth basketball camp. There's a big down at LA Live somewhere. I'm not sure the address, but the Legends Bash. It's a block party, like a 3 to 7 something. So we're going to be doing that. And then, of course, there's more on Sunday. We've got an opportunity for everybody to come together and reconnect and connect. And so it's great. There's a lot of really good stuff. And this will be my first time. So I'm super excited to come out and take it all in and reconnect with a lot of folks. And it's going to be good. It's going to be fun.
That's incredible. Are you going to the Legends brunch on Sunday? Is that going to be one of your stops?
Yes, for sure. And I don't know if it's going to be a brunch this year or some sort of award show. I hear they might be tweaking that in some kind of way, but for whatever it is, I'll be there. I'm going to be checking all the stuff out that we're doing and excited to be participating.
Have you been to one of those yet?
I haven't.
You haven't?
I have not.
It's going to take your breath away.
I'm excited.
Because it's Dr. J and, Magic, and it's like the room is royalty. I've been there for two, just as a spectator.
Yep.
Ernie Johnson usually does an outstanding job of hosting and emceeing. He'll come up with a poem, and Ernie, you're the best. We already knew that, but you are going to love the Legends brunch. It's just one. It's even for you, a former NBA player in your role right now. It's still going to be some pinch me vibes. All right, Doc. I know you had a current events breaking news question for Cal Bowdler.
All right, basketball fans, Knicks fans. So yesterday, Jeremy Sohan was released or waived by the San Antonio Spurs. And so Jeremy Sohan is actually going to be picked up by the New York Knicks. New York Knickerbockers. Yes. And so now, what's everybody's reaction to that?
Well, if you're starting with me, I mean, the Knicks have been interesting. They've lost some games where they probably shouldn't have, but if you look at their record is still really good and strong. Most people looking at them as the favorite to come out of the East, even though they've faltered some. So they're trying to put it together, make a push to the end and get stronger. Can't fall, all power to them, I guess. I'm not a Knicks guy, but they're doing a good job.
I am a Knicks guy. Yes. You know how excited I am. First of all, Jose Alvarado last night in the thumping of the 76ers, 26 off the bench, right? Only 2 turnovers. 5 steals and only 2 turnovers, right? So he was as needed. Dude, you and I are so excited, so hands on this team. This is huge. I got Polish blood running through these veins, right? And Jeremy, I believe Julius with a Z at the end of it, Sohan, and a little send up to my ancestors. My one of my sons' middle name Julius as well.
Nice.
Jeremy, welcome to the team, man. Your 6'8" versatility. I mean, I think you're like a 10-5-3 guy throughout your career, but you've been, a little wasted down in San Antonio this year. Exactly, right? Like he doesn't really kind of fit in with what they've been doing down there. Now we get to unleash him a little bit. This is exactly what the Knicks need. I'm excited.
So the buyout market has not been sexy. There have not been a lot of moves. There have not been a lot of big names. There's not a lot of impactful stuff out there. Lonzo Ball's kind of dang. But first of all, like Sohan was a first-round pick like 3-4 years ago. I'm smelling second apron here, right? Like, okay, he's probably coming up to get paid. I haven't looked at his contract stuff, but they're probably like we were not going to be able to pay this guy, and he's completely fallen out of the rotation. Remember, he asked for a trade. Jeremy Sohan did, quietly, kind of low key, but nothing happened with that because teams just don't want to give a lot of assets up. But I also wonder if the relationship soured with him in the front office and maybe Mitch Johnson I don't want to put that on Jeremy and act like he's a problem child, but I just don't know. It seemed if you're going to cut a guy like Jeremy Sohan midstream like this, because God forbid, I don't want to mention an exact name, but let's say two of like San Antonio's key wings, because they're super deep on the wing, right? Let's say two of those guys get hurt. Then Sohan would be probably back in their rotation. So this is confusing to me on the San Antonio side. To me, there's way more to the story than we know right now, but it's a phenomenal get for the Knicks. I mean, this isn't a 33 or 34-year-old mercenary buyout who might give you something or be a good, locker room presence and all that kind of. Sohan, what is he, 26? Yeah, I mean, you're getting a young, springy, aggressive, defensive-minded. I just don't understand the fallout in San Antonio. And I'm not trying to send this guy to an all-star game or the Hall of Fame, but he's a hell of a. You guys got Jose Alvarado and Jeremy Sohan. You just went. I mean, Leon Rose, dude, this is executive of the year stuff.
So these are the tweaks that my cousin and I have been talking about. My cousin, as you know, has been on this Giannis Antetokounmpo to the New York Knicks train the entire season. But like I said earlier, throughout the season, the Knicks needed to give Mike Brown and this roster the chance to flourish, at least get to the Eastern Conference Finals again and see if they can knock the door down and get to the NBA Finals. I was more on the side of tweaking the lineup. You pick up Jose Alvarado at the trade deadline, and then now you get a chance to pick up Jeremy Sohan, who's going to add depth on the wing. He's going to bring some athleticism. He's going to bring some defense to a team that has been better over the last week to 10 days. It's going to bring more consistent defensive effort, and he's a more than capable three-point shooter, particularly from the corner. It's not a strength, but you have to honor him. He could make the three. I think he will bring that. He's got some savoir-faire too. He's got some flair, has a different color hair sometimes. So I think that will fit the New York market. But overall, to pick up Jose Alvarado and now Jeremy Sohan over the course of the last week, the Knicks are very much in play to make noise in the East, hopefully come out of the East, and possibly win an NBA championship.
Well, I'll say this, though.
We'll look back to this.
Absolutely. But I'll say this. He definitely has some edge. I think we haven't mentioned that. Yeah, we know he's a good defender, but he's gotten a couple brush-ups
no doubt
in
about
his
it.
career, and he's ready to fight. He's ready to, stick up for his teammates. And so now we just don't have, the small, Scrappy-Doo. We have Scooby-Doo, but with a little bite in them. You know what I mean? So, you can't always have Jose Alvarado. They can actually bounce off each other. You don't know which way it's coming. And so I think that this gives us the toughness that we need to go against a team like Detroit. So I like the edge that we finally have.
And this comes back to Jalen Brunson, guys. You mentioned his number the other day, $113 million that he left on the table. The Knicks are able to make these moves because Brunson is so magnanimous to his team, one of the only guys in the league who will actually do this. And Rick, to your point about what the Spurs are doing, you heard me banging on the drum all year so far that they should have gotten off De'Aaron Fox's contract if there was any opportunity before this deadline, and I think there were teams who would have taken him. Toronto Raptors was someone that they could have had conversations with, and now the Spurs have to make some tough decisions moving forward because once that kicks in next year, good God, he's getting way overpaid.
But if the Spurs go in to win a championship this season or next season, having De'Aaron Fox, they can deal with that issue later on. It's what De'Aaron Fox is a major part of what the Spurs want to do. I understand your point. We were talking about Carter Bryant earlier. This is why he's not playing. The Spurs have a plethora of young, talented wings to where it became a numbers game. I'm not so sure if there's something behind the scenes, Rick, in regards to Sohan. I just think it became a numbers game. And Sohan wanted to be traded. He wanted to go elsewhere. Let's see if his talents can be brought to New York and he can be beneficial to what the Knicks are trying to accomplish this season.
All right, so let's get back to our query here of Cal Bowdler, Sohan to the Knicks. You got a question for Cal?
Yes. So I know you're here, Cal, for to have a good time this weekend with the Legends. But is there going to be at some point this weekend where you have serious conversations as to how the Legends can be dealt better in the future? Of course, things have gotten much better, obviously, but are there going to be conversations at some point, maybe a small meeting with the minds to see how things could be even better for the Legends going forward?
So definitely, and as you guys know, I'm sure, the national organization just brought in Antonio Davis about a year ago.
Nice.
For this sort of specific reason to come revamp the entire organization. And one of his big pushes is to start at the chapter level. So that's where kind of I came in with some of our other leadership team in Atlanta to try to get the Atlanta chapter rocking and rolling. And that's his philosophy of, nationwide. And so one of the big things is to make the organization more like what the NFL has done and what MLB has done for their retired players. But you gotta make it valuable. You gotta make it valuable when you're talking about sponsors and you're talking about impact on community. You want to engage people, but you got to create a valuable product in order to get people to come in and engage and participate and be able to then take that into the community and make a bigger impact, whether it's on young current players that you can mentor in some kind of way, or whether it's out in the community with the youth, or, feeding the homeless or something. In Atlanta, we had a great opportunity in January. We partnered with the King Center for Martin Luther King Week that leads up to Martin Luther King Day. They have events every single day.
Nice.
And we had a great opportunity for the local Atlanta chapter to be there and assist. And some of it was small, to say a couple of us just showed up and we're at the event. And that kind of thing is growing. And so to your point, yes, that's absolutely a huge focus, both nationally and at the chapter level, to really build up the momentum and the strength. Because, I was having this exact conversation the other day. There's only 5,000 NBA players all time.
Wow.
It's when you think about it, it's not that's
globally. All time. There's only 5,000 NBA players globally all time. One of the most elite fraternities in the world. There is no reason why it shouldn't be equally as strong. And the only way is for everybody to come together, lift each other up, and then reach out. And that's what Antonio's mission is, and that's what we're starting to see, and we're starting to do that in Atlanta, and all the other chapters are doing the same thing.
That's leadership right there, people. That's leadership right
It's
there.
awesome. There's no question. It's
Cal,
awesome.
you the man.
Great to
Cal
be a part of
Bowdler,
it.
ladies and gentlemen. Hey, I'm hitting with a question.
I'm curious. I mean, you mentioned all these other chapters. How many chapters are there? Where's the actual national main office, and how do they all really work together?
So the national office is in Chicago. So we're based in Chicago. Let's see. I think there's 12 chapters, maybe. There's Dallas, there's Houston, Chicago has a chapter, New York, I think, LA, Orlando, maybe. I think there's 12, but I'm missing some of them. But then they're also, right, and one of the other things is looking to see kind of where people are living, which is another reconnection type of thing, and see if there's other cities that might be willing to open up a chapter, markets that are not being represented that should be. I was shocked when I started in Atlanta and we got the database. There was over 200 retired players that lived in the Atlanta area. Now, that includes the NBA, WNBA, and Harlem Globetrotters.
Nice.
We're all under the same umbrella, which is fantastic because it's a huge reach. A huge reach. It's incredible. And so, we've got 200 retired players across all three leagues just in Greater Atlanta. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to do something really special there and grow. And most of the markets are like that. And so finding new markets that aren't represented to build new chapters is definitely on the agenda as well.
Yeah.
What was your welcome to the NBA moment?
I got a picture I could show you. It'll take me a minute to find it, but it was playing against the Spurs. Now, keep in mind, this was 1999 was my rookie year. So you got, David Robinson and Tim Duncan on that team. And I've got an incredible picture for this, but at some point, in the play, I'm down underneath, I get the ball, I go up like I'm gonna dunk it. Well, I got David Robinson and Tim Duncan standing right there.
Sheesh.
I got a photo of them both blocking the shot at the same time with their elbows. It is the most incredible shot ever if I was not on the other end. But talk about a welcome to the NBA moment for me. I was a good college player and thought I was a good athlete, but I tell you what, the level of separation when you get to the NBA is incredible. And remind me to show you that picture after we wrap up, because it was in an episode of Slam Magazine too.
Really?
Back in the day. Remember how popular Slam Magazine was back in the day? Like 1999, 2000, something like that. That's where I got it from, was out of Slam Magazine. So somewhat embarrassing, but welcome to the NBA moment. But at this point in my life now, looking back and being involved again with the Retired Players Association and everything, it's a really cool special moment too to be able to look at, and definitely, welcome to the NBA moment, no question about it.
Antonio Daniels talks about when he got crossed up by Iverson, right? And all the great stuff that AD did. He's a champion. I worked with him on NBA radio for a long time. And that's what they go to every time. They don't want to talk about, his charity work or it's just you got crossed up by Iverson, but he's got great perspective on it, and you do as well. He was in the arena on the court playing against Allen Iverson.
Yes.
So the people who are dissing him would absolutely want to be ankle broken by Allen Iverson. So, and you, you're playing against two of the greatest power forward of all time and a top 10 center.
No question.
There's no shame in that, and I love your attitude about it.
Well, yeah, no question. And I go back to what I just said a minute ago. There's only 5,000 NBA players globally, all time.
That's insane.
And what is this, the 75th year of the NBA or something coming up, right? So in 75 years of NBA basketball, there's only 5,000 total NBA players globally. So to be able to say that I was part of that, even though I played 3 years, cup of coffee, whatever, I didn't have a great career. Antonio Daniels had a great career.
Long career, 13 years or something.
Yeah. So, but I'm very, very proud and very blessed that I had the opportunity to be there and share the court with with those type of legends. And so I that's how I look at it. I'm blessed to be part of one of the most elite fraternities in the world.
Wait, I know you got one. Just quick follow-up. Did Shaq ever dunk on you?
Somebody asked me about Shaq, and here's the funny thing about Shaq is, now don't forget, I was at the end of the bench most of the time. So when we played the Lakers, it was highly unlikely that, I was getting in the game. But the one time I did play against the Lakers, he didn't play that game.
Okay.
And so
you
I
didn't
can't say, so I did not.
Okay.
I did not, which is great. Which is good and bad, I guess, good and bad. But the funny thing about Shaq is, I'm 6'10", 280 probably right now. Shaq's 7'1", probably 380. If he were to stand between me and you wouldn't even see me. And so when I say that to people, they're like, it doesn't even make any sense to him. He's so big. But my years in the league though were the two of their three-peat years. So there was, you talk Kobe and Shaq or talk about all-time greats.
Wow.
I was there, on the
So
court
cool,
for those.
man.
Incredible,
So cool.
Incredible years.
I'd like to ask you an Atlanta Hawks question.
Sure.
Overrated.
Besides that, ultimately it ended up being a salary dump. Trae Young, Corey Kispert, and CJ McCollum come over to the Hawks. Do you think it was the right decision? Was it the right decision to transition from Trae Young to Jalen Johnson, who's on the cusp of turning himself not into a star, but a superstar in the NBA, averaged a triple-double the entire month of December? Talk about his growth and why the Hawks, in your opinion, made the decision to transition from Young to Jalen Johnson.
Sure. So I think Trae Young has had an incredible career. He's a great player. I feel like they probably got as far as they were going to get. And maybe if you look at his numbers, they're starting to go down a little bit, even though he's still having great seasons, year over year. And so you had a decision to make. And some of it was a business decision. Some of it was like they sell out almost every game. Mm-hmm. So from a business perspective, they do really well. Now they're finishing 8, 9, 10 every year, since the year they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. But from a business perspective, they're still successful, even though. And so a lot of it probably was, hey, do we trade? Trade puts butts in seats kind of thing. But it got to the point where I think they just felt like they probably weren't going to get over the hump with him. And so, all of the sort of rumors you hear swirling around of, maybe off the court or how he gets along with players and all that kind of stuff. I don't really know any of that. Mm-hmm. But the fact that there's commentary around it, is probably enough. And so you make a change. Jalen Johnson's coming on at the right time. He's playing great. He's playing awesome. My question about Jalen Johnson is he a number one? Can you build a franchise around him? I don't know if you can or not. He's an incredible player. He's having a great run. But is he a number one? Because that's essentially what you're saying. You got rid of your number one. Is Jalen going to be number one?
He's on his way to that. Because it's a great question. And part of that for me is, how's the city of Atlanta? You know what I mean? Hawks fans. Like, they love Trae, Ice Trae, the whole thing. Did the city of Atlanta, did Hawks fans, did the streets turn on Trae? Or are the streets pissed that the Hawks traded Trae, like the streets are still pissed about them trading Dominique Wilkins?
So it's definitely not like Dominique Wilkins. Let's put it that way. I think there's a strong pro-Trae group that's upset that he's gone. I think there's a strong group on the opposite side. It's like, hey, enough is enough. Like, we haven't been winning. Like, we got to do something different.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Gotcha.
You know, and then everybody else kind of falls in between. Like, okay, well, let's see what's next. Let's see if they can build something next. Let's give Quinn Snyder, you know, a chance at putting the team together. And they got a new GM. And let's see what they can build. And they like Jalen. He's young. He's playing great. They got good pieces. You know, the Porzingis thing didn't work out, but you didn't really have more expectations than him playing 30 games anyway.
Nope.
He hasn't done it in a decade or however many years he's been in the league. So, I mean, you know, they definitely have some work to do. They got some work to do, but it'll be interesting to see what they can build.
Jalen Johnson, to your point, like, can he be? I mean, we all agree he's the Batman, right? We've mentioned that a number of times. Yeah. But if he had to go back to Robin, who's it going to be to? Well, you guys have both Milwaukee or New Orleans.
Yep.
Pick your poison, right?
Yeah.
If either of these teams end up in the top 4, top 5 position in the draft, you get to choose which
That's
one of those
right.
you want. And we all know how good this draft is coming. Yeah. Not to mention Reese Shea, who's sitting on the bench, and you know, give him and his credit, his development.
Yeah.
A lot to like down in Atlanta.
And he's done well, and they're young. Yeah, I just don't know if Jalen is a build your franchise number one guy. Mm-hmm. He's playing great. He's definitely Batman right now. But if you're looking at building a franchise, is he the guy you would pick to build it around? I don't know.
It's a legit question. I mean, he was a game misser heading into this year, too. The previous 2 years, like, missed a ton of games.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I mean, you know, I hope that was just a little blip on the radar. And they weren't manufactured injuries. Those were legit injuries.
For sure.
No. So, to that point, are the Hawks going to be big game hunting this offseason to find that Batman to Jalen Johnson's Robin?
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, you know, they got flexibility. They've made a lot of moves. They got a new GM who's definitely willing to make moves. I think, you know, we proved that at least. So there's some excitement around that. You know, the GM's moving and shaking, and you know, so it'll be interesting to see. I think they're probably gonna have to do some stuff because they got to build a better roster. Even if Jason is going to be, I mean, if he is going to be the piece that they build around, they still got to build the roster up.
Yeah. So you guys think Kuminga fits? You think he's going to start over Ricochet eventually?
I would be starting him because the Hawks, we talked about this, they're number 2 in pace. Kuminga's a run player. He's a fast break, you know, wide open court, play fast type of player. I think it's a great fit, but we'll see. We'll see.
That's definitely a wait and see to me because, you know, he's had his issues in Golden State. So is it going to be a new sort of refreshing start for him and you know, kick his career off? Yeah. You know, maybe so. Hopefully so. He's shown flashes of being great.
Which is crazy because he's an NBA champion, and I feel he contributed to that ring along with Jordan Poole.
Agreed.
So he has an NBA championship experience, and he has a ring already. He should be proud of that.
Yeah, no question.
The jury is still out on Ricochet as well. I think I don't want to say that it's buyer's remorse, but
they passed on Alex Sarr for Zach Ricochet. It's one of the worst draft decisions of all time.
Right, but
I said that before the draft. I said, watch, they're going to take Ricochet. Did you guys know about Alex Sarr going into that draft?
I did.
Did you research him and watch some tape on him? I was like, that was not a great draft, right? Reed Shepherd was the 3rd overall pick, okay? I mean, God bless, but that was not a great draft. I'm like, Alex Sarr is by far the best player, and it's not even close. And, of course, the Hawks take Ricochet.
He was an Atlanta guy, too. I think Sarr played at OTE.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure.
And, you know, the whole thing was, well, they've already got bigs. They don't need, you can't, you're the Hawks. You can't think that way. We have a tanking crisis in the NBA, Cal Bowdler. We talked about the Jaren Jackson Jr. thing. He's got the growth on his knee. They discovered it at the physical at the trade. Then they let him play 3 games. He's killing it. The team's killing it. Boom, he's going to have surgery to remove the growth. And so we debated earlier on the show, was that tanky behavior? Most of us thought it was. You don't have to focus on that, but we know that a lot of teams and tanking's a huge topic in the NBA right now. So what would you do to fix it? Do you think it's fine the way it is? Talk to us.
I think it's a difficult spot because there's so much value that you can get out of if you're not going to be good or you're going to be middle of the road. You get a lot of potential value, especially this coming year with a strong draft. That's how strong the draft class is. You really can get value out of doing it. I don't like it. It takes away the idea of competitiveness and wanting to win every game, even if you're the worst the worst team in the league. You want to go spoil somebody's day. You know, you just want to win that game. If you go to LA Fitness, you don't go there just to to warm up. You want to try to win the game. It doesn't matter. You know, so
I know Doc does, man.
Yeah.
So 24-hour fitness. I like those LA Fitness courts.
Well, whatever. Wherever you're going.
The wall is out of bounds.
Look, you're going down the streets to the outdoor courts. You know, wherever
Thanks.
you're going, you're not going to lose the game. You're going to, you're going to try to win the game. So I guess the spin is, business has a lot to do with it. And again, value has a lot to do with it. How do you fix it? I don't know, because you can't pinpoint it for sure. Nobody's going to come out and say it.
Yeah.
So strategically, you can do some things.
Oklahoma City Thunder definitely benefited from tanking. They got him a championship.
So did Philadelphia with Edgecombe. So did Dallas with Lively.
It's so there are some benefits, but to Cal's point, the competitive spirit, it's taken away because you can't fool us. We follow the sport. You see what's happening. But it is what it is, especially because of this year's draft. We're going to be talking 3-5 years from now as to how this team tanked, got this player, and ultimately won a championship. Some team is going to benefit from what they're doing now. So this is it's a fluid situation. We'll see what happens. We don't like how they're approaching it, but it is what it is. And so 5 years down the road, we'll see if it worked.
And we got time for maybe one or two more questions here with Cal, and we're going to wrap up the show. You guys, anybody else got another question for Cal?
I just had a question about in terms of the international component. I know you played overseas, and I know it's more of a national thing, but is there any, what are the summer plans? Is there any international component coming into this, seeing that the NBA potentially will expand into Europe?
I mean, there's definitely conversation around that, I think. Even I heard something about the NFL thinking about it now. They're exploring it, So obviously everybody, I think, understands the global market. Certainly the NBA knows how big the fan base is globally. And I know I've played games and stuff. This NBA Europe League, I think, is interesting. I don't really logistically know how it's going to work unless it's going to operate independently and just be another version of the G League, maybe, or not necessarily the G League, but an independent league that operates under the NBA name. I'm not really sure because logistically, back and forth, I don't know how you can do that for an entire season. Games here and there, okay, but I don't know. So we'll see what happens. It'll be super interesting. But one of the things to tie it back to the retired players, in Atlanta, we also had the opportunity. Harold Keeling is one of our retired players, and he's actually on our executive team as well. He just went to Africa and spent the month of January on behalf of our Atlanta chapter and was there building a basketball court for a village in Ghana. Got some incredible footage. We still haven't put it out yet because we're chopping it up and we don't have any professional editors and such. Like, you guys have a great opportunity.
We know a guy.
Yeah. So that's right. So we're trying to get it out. But, in terms of global footprint, we feel like even on the retired player side, we think we can make an impact in that way too. And so super, super excited about that opportunity. And if the NBA expands and creates a league over there, then great.
How do you plan to leverage the Olympics being here in the United States in just a couple of years for the retired players? Like, what's the game plan that you guys are talking about now?
So that's a great question. We haven't had that conversation. So now I'm going to use your advice and bring that up. We're not going to do what the city of Atlanta has done and poorly planned for World Cup. That's getting ready to happen in June. And if infrastructure is not complete and all kinds of disasters.
Oh, wow.
We'll start talking about that and figure out what we're going to do for Olympics. That's a great question.
Last one here. We debated this. Dwight thought Isaiah Stewart should have gotten the whole. Actually, he thought he should have been suspended for the rest of his career. I think that's what he said.
Don't do that.
He said season. He said, I'm just
season.
busting stuff. He said season. I said it was too much. Draymond got 5 for choking out Gobert, and Stewart gets 7. So I thought Stewart should have been at 5 too. What says you?
I think your challenge there is that he came off the bench. He wasn't involved in it. It wasn't, I get you want to protect your teammates and all of that kind of thing, but the NBA has
More than Duncan Robinson, right?
Yeah, that's right. But the NBA has a hard stance of coming off the bench because the reality is it could really go sideways if that happens. And all the benches are coming in and everybody's throwing blows, and you remember Rudy talking about what happened there. Like, obviously that kind of thing hasn't happened since, but it can be a really dangerous situation if all of a sudden people come flying off the bench out of nowhere and they're not even involved in it. So I think the league is just looking out for the players and trying to protect their product. I mean, it's an awesome product.
So you're cool with 7 games. You thought they got that right?
I'm surprised that was 7. I thought it was probably going to be more. I can't
Oh,
say.
wow, okay.
I can't say I thought it was going to be the rest of the season, but I did think it was going to be significant because he does have a history, and he did blatantly come off the bench swinging. And I think there's a, you know, and the NBA has a hard line. They that do not come off the bench, and so I'm surprised it's not more. I can't say whole season.
Cal, it's a slap on the wrist. I can't believe they didn't come down harder. Again, if it was the first time,
Rick wants boxing gloves out there. Like, just everybody go at it like a hockey.
Again, anybody who knows Dwight Walton, I am not a soft individual by any means. I know my opinion comes across as soft, but I made the same point. He left the bench with intent he wanted to inflict pain. And because of his past history, giving him 7 games to me is now giving license to the rest of the NBA. You know what? If I'm only going to get 7 games, I'm coming off the bench. I know it costs a lot of money. I know that. And there are levels to the contracts. So it could be even, steeper to some individual players. I get that. But if you're telling me I'm only going to miss 7 games if I come off the bench, I'm coming off the bench. I'm coming off the bench.
Well, here's the way I think of it. Think about.
You know, he lost $1 million for this, right? Isaiah Stewart.
Okay.
He lost $1 million for this suspension. Something like that.
Okay.
There's ways to stick up for your teammates. There's ways to do this in game. Think about the Pistons back in the day. Think about how physical the game was. You take care of this in game. Throw them to the ground a couple times. Get some hard fouls.
That's what I said. That's what I'm talking about.
You can take care of this in a different way.
Good call.
Without coming off the bench, getting ejected, losing money. Adding to now, your rap sheet essentially.
Right.
Because he already had, infractions coming in, and this might be the biggest one. But now he's got a black eye. I mean, like, he's not going to be able to ever move past the fact that this has been who he is to this point. And so, I think I don't know if there's some teaching there or whatever, but handle this stuff in game. And maybe it's because the game is not as physical as it used to be, and so that's not in the thought process. But it can certainly be handled in game. I do not think you need to be coming off the bench, and I do think it should have been more game.
So Cal's got to rip out of here. He's got to go to Beverly Hills. He'll be dining with Martin Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino a little bit later on here today.
Crossed.
So
fingers crossed.
There you go, man. Cal, can't thank you enough for joining us.
Thanks so much
you're
for
a
having us.
dear
Really
friend of mine.
Yep.
You're a dear friend of us here at Beyond the
Thanks so much
Surface
for
on the X-Rated Sports Network. Love you, Cal, and hopefully we can catch up and hang out a little bit over the weekend.
Hey, look, nobody else is getting me to pull a jacket out of my suitcase.
There you go.
Yes.
I can tell you that. Got you. On the fly. Yeah.
Cal, appreciate you, man.
You got it.
Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
It is our pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, we are out. What a show. This was an extravaganza, right? Mike Yam, Cal Bowdler, Dwight Walton, AMF for Dr. X. I'm Rick Kamla. Shout out to Sean. Shout out to Kai. Shout out to Jason, our tremendous crew. These guys are brilliant. They work their butts off. The turnaround that happened from the set to this, blew. I'm not going to throw networks under the bus, but you guys deserve a round of applause. It was high level, elite pro broadcasting and TV delivery to you, our great audience out there. We love you. Enjoy All-Star Weekend, and we will see you Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific with the next episode of Beyond the Surface on the X-Rated Sports Network. Peace.